During a recent interview on the Clay and Buck podcast, Donald Trump said more than 1,000 days after he lost the 2020 election that very soon he will finally be releasing the evidence that it was stolen. I came across a headline from the publication Mediaite that honestly made me laugh out loud, LOL, and it reads as follows: 1,100 days after Trump lost the 2020 election, he promises evidence he actually won is coming soon. Now, there's actually a really important point I want to connect this to after going over this absurd clip from Trump, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Here's Trump on the Clay and Buck podcast saying, we'll be releasing that evidence I've been talking about, that the 2020 election was stolen, very, very soon. Not like today. We're not going to release it right now. What the heck? But it's just around the corner, I promise.
You're covering a lot of territory. And I did a great job. And we got votes like nobody's ever, no sitting president has ever gotten anywhere near that number of votes. And I felt I could go home and I would watch a fair election. And I went home and it looked really good. And then around 10 o'clock in the evening, all of a sudden I started finding lots of ballots and things started changing. And then at 3:02, in the morning, things happened that were really, really bad. So, we did great against him. And I believe we won by a tremendous amount. And we have proof of it. And we're releasing the proof. And you'll see the proof. It'll come up a lot over the next period of a few months.
We'll be releasing the proof, he says, in a period of a few months for some reason. Why do his followers put up with this? I have no idea. Now, this reminds me of Mike Lindell, who for a couple of years would every few months, as we covered, have a new date when the Supreme Court was going to rule the election void and the military was going to come bring Trump into the White House as the rightful president. And he would give specific dates too that his followers could hold him to. Time and time again, he did this. By Thanksgiving, Trump will be president. By February, Trump will be president. By May, Trump will be president. 2 weeks, he's going to be president. And needless to say, none of those times came true. And the saddest part is when I'm at Trump rallies, I'll ask supporters about Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, as we refer to him. Do you think Mike Lindell is trustworthy? I'll ask them. They'll say, absolutely. Then I'll ask, didn't he promise like 6 months ago Trump would be put back into the White House? They'll say yes. So wasn't he wrong? They'll say yes. So shouldn't that make you question his reliability? They'll say no. Some of them say, well, that's an easy question, Luke, because Trump never stopped being president. He's in control through the military or something. So I guess that gets him out of it. But here's an example of one of these back and forth with a Trump supporter I had a few months ago in South Carolina.
I believe the military is in charge right now.
Oh, this is one I've heard before. So if the military is in control, do you mean they're running everything? Biden isn't?
We know Biden's not. Biden's definitely not running anything. I believe President Obama is actually calling the shots right now, and everything that I've researched is pointing toward that. But who's going to sit back and watch all this happen? Mike Lindell proved beyond a reasonable doubt that enough cheating went on in that election that it would have changed the outcome.
Obviously, many would say he didn't, but to move on from that, speaking of Mike Lindell, he's predicted multiple times that by this date, Trump will take back over as president. The military will bring him in. Does it not make you go, oh, wait, maybe the claims he's been making about other things are also lies because he lied about this, or he at least falsely predicted something about this?
I don't believe Mike Lindell's got a bad bone in his body. He is a true Christian. I ministered for years. Why I'm here, why I built this truck, God came to me. And I'll hold my belief where God tells me to hold it. And it's a little too complicated for most people to even figure out what would happen if they overturned or found out that that was a fraud.
I don't even know what to say to that. What's funny is even the way that Trump words that phrase in the clip that we watch is as if he's conceding the evidence hasn't been released yet. It sounds like he's conceding he hasn't yet been able to prove what would justify his lies about the election. Like, let me give you an alternative example. If I were to say, listen, people understand that man-caused climate change is happening, and the evidence is going to be released in a matter of months. That would sound strange to you. Or evolution is backed by the scientific evidence, and that evidence is going to be released very soon. No one would say that because the evidence is already out there. It's already accessible. But Trump knows the evidence isn't actually out there when it comes to his claims about the election. So he has to pretend like he has it, and it'll be released soon for some reason. Not now, but soon. Now, this assumes that we're supposed to find it logical that if he did have the evidence that the election was stolen, which of course he doesn't because it wasn't, but if he did, that's why he's been saying these things about the election for all of this time. He would wait 3 years to make all that information public. Why on earth would that make any sense? It wouldn't, but somehow his followers make sense of it. Now, I'll remind you of Trump's last promise on this front. Here's an article from Rolling Stone titled, "Trump Announces Plans to Finally Go Ahead and Prove Election Was Rigged." The former president says he will deliver a conclusive report next Monday that should get everyone to drop all the charges. And that was after his Fulton County indictment, and was reporting on a True Social post of Trump's. That article was published on August 15th, 2023. On August 17th, 2023, 2 days later, the same Rolling Stone reports Trump says actually he's going to hold off on proving election was rigged. The former president canceled a press conference during which he promised to present irrefutable proof of election fraud. And indeed, Donald Trump had canceled what was supposed to be a bombshell press conference where he'd present all that evidence he's been talking about, so stunning that all prosecutions would be dropped against him. But he canceled it because, I don't know. But instead of just believing, maybe every data point that exists isn't a part of a grand scheme to deceive them, MAGA would rather believe Trump is still the one guy telling the truth. Very, very strange. Now, I told you I was going to connect this to an important point other than the importance of calling out someone like Trump who is constantly lying and degrading our democracy. And that is this. We've been talking about on today's show, Republicans on Tuesday night, adding another set of election results to the now pretty big stack of evidence that America is rejecting their extremism on abortion rights and as it relates to Trumpism. It seems pretty obvious why. Think about this juxtaposition. I just showed you a representation of the modern Republican Party, Trump discussing his legal troubles and telling damaging lies about our elections. He's the leader of that party. Here's one of the representatives of the Democratic Party who had a huge win in Kentucky on Tuesday night, being reelected as governor of his state. This is Andy Beshear. And tell me which message is more likely to win over America.
But folks, this wasn't my win. This was our victory. It was a victory that sends a loud, clear message. A message that candidates should run for something and not against someone. That a candidate should show vision and not sow division. And a clear statement that anger politics should end right here and right now. Just look at what we were up against. 5 super PACs. My opponent's super PAC, Mitch McConnell's super PAC, Rand Paul's super PAC, the Club for Growth, the Republican Governors Association, all running ads full of hate and division. And you know what? We beat them all at the same time.
I mean, that's a message that people can get behind. While Donald Trump, the face of the GOP, begs people to be outraged by him being held accountable for his potential violation of the law and continue screaming lies about the last presidential election, Democrats are actually putting forward a vision for the future with all their flaws. That's actually being done. They're actually bringing forward policies that people care about and discussing issues that matter. Before we go, don't forget to become a member at lukebeasleyshow.com/membership to get access to a daily bonus show and help to fund all the tea I've been drinking lately with this illness. Entire bonus show, Monday through Friday, is what you get access to with that membership. Plus, follow me on Threads at Luke Beasley Official, Instagram at Luke Beasley Official, X at Luke P. Beasley, and sign up for the Beasley Brief, a daily morning newsletter summarizing the previous day's events by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/brief, and I'll talk to you next time.